Hello, hello. I am Pretty Bird.
And I am Sweet Pea.
And together we are Pretty Sweet. Welcome to Pretty Sweet Distractions, where we speak unfiltered about life, love, poetry, and prowess. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the distractions in the form of open discussions on artful words. Now, we do have a couple of itty bitty rules. Well, they're more like, just things to remember. We are grown up people talking about grown up things using all the grown up words. This is your only warning. If you're easily offended, this may not be your bouncing tea bag, cup of tea, or whatever floats your boat. We like to have fun, poke fun, and generally have a great time. So if you're down to be distracted, come hang out, chat, call, like, follow, share, leave your opinion on our opinions, click all the hearts, and show us some love. We have live streams every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, and you can listen to us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X. Just type in Pretty Sweet, PRTTY Sweet, all one word. Click on the red shoes, and you can find us there promptly at 10 every Tuesday and Thursday. So tonight, it is no is a complete sentence. Though may not always be the kindest option, no means no. It doesn't mean ask later or ask again in a different way. If you ask me if I want something from the store and I say no, let it stand. If you ask me if you look fat and I say no, let it stand. For the love of God, let it stand. While there may be an exception to every rule, no is a complete sentence. I mean, is it rude? Yeah, sometimes is it, but it doesn't mean it's wrong. So my voice is coming and going and leaving me because once I get sick, my voice is the last thing to want to come back to health. So it might be like this for weeks to come. It's unfortunate. Having said all that, um, we hear a lot about no means no when it comes to body autonomy and things like that, which of course valid. Absolutely. If you do not have consent, like explicit consent, maybe stop the fingers from roaming into the parts. I am just saying. But that's not the only time that no is valid. But here's the thing. Um, at what point does slight pressure, peer pressure, at what point is it redefined as bullying? At what point is it manipulation? I mean, because here's the thing. That's kind of how we go through life with our friends. They're like, "Hey, you want to go to McDonald's?" No, I don't really feel like going to McDonald's. Well, we're going to McDonald's. Why don't you go to McDonald's? All right, I'll go to McDonald's. And it sounds like a normal conversation because it is. But if you're on a diet and they're like, "Come to McDonald's." Well, we're going anyway, and you can choose either don't hang out with your friends or you're going to McDonald's. I mean, is it a choice? Kinda. Is it really? No, because if you want to hang out with your friends, you want to hang out with your friends. So my question is, there is peer pressure that it doesn't feel like peer pressure. There is when you're talking to anybody, partner wise, friend wise, stranger wise, there's some kind, it's not coercion. I mean, it could be, but it's not. There's always some kind of I want to do this, you want to do that, what side wins. And if it's an outright compromise, you're like, "Hey, you're kind of mid in what you want to eat. I really want Thai food. How about we do Thai food tonight and then you go and pick the next time we go out?" That is fair. That's a compromise. That is not manipulation, right? There's no pressure. But if, say, I've picked Thai food 3 times in a row, she's like, "Listen, I really want to do something else. I don't want to eat anything else. I want Thai food. So I'm going to go get Thai food. So let's go get Thai food." That's pressure. So at what point
You just order
in
from
these
Wonder.
if at what point do you then um choose your own boundaries or choose to have a conversation that's uncomfortable? To be like, "Listen, it's always what you want without any consideration for me. So you can do what you want. I'm going to do what I want." Like nobody wants to go there. If the goal is to have dinner together with your friend, your partner, coworkers, whatever it is. And I get that if it's a big group of people, majority wins. That's fair enough. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the individual things that it's easier to just give in than to fight, because if you really don't want it that bad, it's really not that big a deal. But then we train people to disregard our opinion. And so, in this gradient of soft nose versus hard nose, why is there a difference? Because no means no. People are going to do what they want to do. And now that things have shifted into um, the mainstream idea of you can't make me do whatever and I'm going to do what I want, which is all fair and well and good, it stops being a matter of polite society and starts moving into not necessarily entitlement, though it could, but there's sense of empowerment that then leads to entitlement, because once if you have a very strong personality and somebody doesn't have a strong personality, there is, and I'm speaking from experience, 'cause I don't know if you've noticed, I got kind of a strong
Okay.
personality. I tend to overpower people, not on purpose. I don't coerce people. I don't bully them. I don't ever say, "Well, I'm going, so you can stay the fuck home because I'm going to go without you." That's not the way that works. But if I'm in the mood for Thai food, chances are you're going to have a lot of convincing to get me not to not want Thai food. Because if I'm the only person who knows what I want and everybody else doesn't, I'm not going to sit there and hem and haw for the next 2 hours 'cause I'm hungry. It's like, listen, we can talk about it while eating Thai food, you know? And that's just the way life works. And I don't bully them into it. I
Uh,
don't sit there and threaten them that, whatever. I'm like, I'm hungry. I know what I want. You guys don't know what you want. But since you don't care if it's Thai food or not, nobody's allergic to the Thai food. Why don't we go get the Thai food? Then we'll discuss all the options for the next time while nobody's hangry, i.e., me, because I get hangry. And then, it ends up being, why are we always doing what you want? Because you people can't make a fucking decision. That's just the way that is. But when I call them out on that, I'm like, I'm the only person who ever knows what they want. They feel insulted or attacked, or why do you have to be so abrasive? Why do you have to be so wishy-washy? No, I love my people, but is it really that hard? I mean, here's the thing. When I first got together with my partner, I didn't give a shit. I didn't care where we went, and I didn't care. I just wanted to share time. Didn't care what we were doing. He's like, "Well, I'm kind of hungry. Are you hungry?" My universal response was, "I could eat," you know, which is why I gained a lot of weight. But I honestly didn't care where we were, so long as we were together. And so there was no anything. There was no bulldozing anybody. There was none of that. Fast forward a few decades, and we have to decide exactly what we want and from where before we leave the house to go anywhere, or we never go anywhere, and then we end up not even bringing food home because we can't even figure on we can't even agree on the type of fast food when everything else is closed. We've been driving around all night. So you learn the hard way. You make the decisions and then you leave the house. You don't get in the car and then think you're going to land somewhere because nobody's going to be happy. So here's the thing. It's hard for people that are polite and thoughtful to leave no at no. Now, I like when people listen to what I have to say. So if I'm like yes or no, I expect somebody to remember that they asked me the fucking question and not forget how I answered it, because, call me particular. If you're going to bother to ask me a question, maybe pretend that the answer is important to you in some kind of way, that you're not going to ask me the same thing 15 times because you literally forgot what I said. That's different than if I if everybody's watching a movie and on the couch, and I go to the kitchen, does anybody want anything? And I'm like, I'm grabbing a bottle of water. Does anybody want anything? I'm like, okay, I'm leaving the kitchen. And because while no does mean no, not everybody listens at the same time. So if you've got a lot of people the last thing I want is to go back to the living room and be like, "Oh, well, I wanted a glass of water. Well, now I'm over here. You can get it your damn self because you didn't listen to me in the first fucking place." And then I'm the bitch, you know? So I will ask over and over. I'm also the hypocrite that if you're going to ask me 15 times the same fucking question, maybe don't fucking talk to me. I don't have time for your bullshit because I am that girl too. I'm very nice and very thoughtful and very leave me the fuck alone. I mean, I can be both things. So my question to you guys today is, where is the line between letting the no stand and asking again? Because I'm assuming it's situational, it depends on mood, it depends on a lot of things, but there's got to be some kind of general overtones as to, basic guidelines of that. And I'm going to say again, when it comes to anything sexual or sexually um um with any kind of sexual intention, if it is not an explicit yes, err on the side of caution. But other than that scenario, I ask the question, Sweet Pea, where is that line? When do you let the no stand and when do you ask again?
Um, Again, I think it's all about the person you're asking, about your mood, about what's going on in your life.
So what
I'm
about a stranger?
Oh, strangers they're pretty hard line. I mean, if I don't know you and I've asked you to do something and you're kind of looking at me like, what the hell? Well, who the hell are you to tell me you're not going to do something? Or if I've told you no, back up and be a no is a no. Stay, that's it. Um, there's certain levels of, comfort of when you're with somebody for a long time, you kind of know, well, they were half-assed listening to me, they weren't listening to me, or maybe I didn't say something right, or they're communicating, they were stargazing, or they were into whatever they were doing, and you kind of know that. But usually mine is like, if I've asked you more than 3 times, I'm pretty much done with you. So that's just kind of my thing is, if I have to ask you more than 3 times, you're not paying attention, and that's just going to piss me off because I deserve that attention. Or, you know, I'm just going to do it my damn self because you've made me feel invisible, so I don't need you. Um, and, you totally are not respecting me. And that's you've made me feel invisible, so you don't deserve whatever I'm going to do or was going to have for you, or I ask you to do, and you flat out are just telling me go to hell. So I'm usually kind of like at that 3 is kind of my magic number of no or yes or
You
whatever
take
it
a
is.
no as them telling you to go to hell.
Well, if I've asked you to do something and you've kind of told me no, or I've asked or you haven't said yes or no, that's kind of a no to me anyway. Or if I've, hey, I need to go do
Okay, I'm
this.
gonna need an example because to me that's not a general response. That's a specific response to specific things.
Um, I need something done. I need you to. Oh, I don't need you. Can you stop watching? Or I want to watch something instead of say a science program. Can I stop? Can we stop watching a sci-fi channel for like 2 hours today? And I get no response. I don't want to watch that sci-fi channel. If I've asked 3 times and you've totally ignored me, I'm pretty much done with you. I probably won't, even deal with it, or I'll just grab the controller and do it myself because I've asked, and no, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to do this, and I'm completely ignored. That's to the point where I won't take it anymore. After 3 times, I think I have earned, or you're A, not respecting me, B, you're ignoring me, and that it's just not. That's just it. I asked you to stop. I told you no, and you've decided that I have no say, and that's just going to be enough of me to get angry and upset and say I said no 3 times. So. That's kind of
Okay,
my
no, I'm
example.
confused because that's the opposite of what we were talking about. Like that is not somebody's telling you no and you not telling. Okay, so they didn't say you asked them, they ignored you, and you're taking that as a no.
Well, yes, because if you don't answer me, that's a no to me. I
Okay,
mean, it's just like if you go to the kitchen and you're asking, hey, do you want water? Do you want this? You want that? And by the time you get back and then somebody looks at you, oh, I want a glass of water. And you're like, screw you, go
well,
get it
sucks to be you at
yourself.
that point. That's true,
Yeah.
but here's the thing. Um, this is when somebody tells you no, or when you're telling them no, because you've used the no on both sides of that, and I'm confused as to what you're saying.
Okay. So if I'm told no
Uh-huh.
because I asked somebody to do something,
Uh-huh. You're gonna keep on asking them until
I'm
it's three
I'm going to
times.
ask like 3 times. That's it. I'm going to say, can
Okay,
you do
so that's the whole
right?
issue then with if somebody asks me and I say no, let it stand. And you're saying that you will ask that question three times and
Based on their
a
answer. Like if they ignore me or like if they flat out say, no, I'm not going to do that for you, I will let it go. But sometimes people don't hear you right, is what I'm saying, or they've ignored you or they never answer. So I will ask somebody like 3 times, did you hear me correctly? Did I communicate correctly? Were you paying attention? That's what I'm saying. So sometimes you have to depend. Now, if it's a stranger, I won't do that. But somebody I've lived with for a while, I want to make sure I ask and they heard, because sometimes you don't. People that you've lived with, they do ignore you. They don't hear what you say, or they haven't paid attention because they just haven't.
so
So
I
I
live
will
with a bunch
ask,
of boys.
huh?
And I live with a bunch of boys. So with for me, the one thing that works 100% of the time, and I mean 100% of the time, is if I call them by name first, and then they're like, "Huh?" And because that way they can't play stupid.
That's probably very true, but that's all I was saying is sometimes even if I ask and I don't get a response, I sometimes in my head say, okay, they just said no because they didn't respond. And then I have to think, wait, how did I communicate
Yeah,
it?
but then you get all pissed off, and you do
Well,
it
after
yourself
three
anyway.
times, yeah, I'll get a little sulky. It's just, I'll admit it that I do. I mean, I get a
So
little,
here's the thing. At what point when they're asking you and you ignore them or you say no, at what point do you get pissed off on that and opposite?
um, if they're asking me, I usually hear what they're asking me. I usually
Right. But if you
respond.
say no and they keep on asking, at what point does that annoy you?
Probably about 3 or 4 times. It's like, stop asking. I already told you no. And it's the same thing with like, do you want something at the store? Do you want me to get you ice cream? Do you want me, or my the famous question that I cannot stand is, you get to pick dinner. No, you pick it. I'm not picking where we go to dinner again. I've picked it almost every single time for 20 years. I get so tired of that question. No, you pick it. No. And then it's just silence because I already told you no. I told you no
And
more
so
than
if they
once.
pick and you don't like where they pick, do you complain?
No, I do not.
Because just trying to see where that lands, just because when you spend so long, you really get decision fatigue. There's a name for that shit that I'm getting wrong.
Right.
And because you have to micromanage children, you have to micromanage everybody else's appointments, all their lives, all the stuff that you can give a shit. If I'm not cooking, that means the choice is yours, you know
Yes.
and the people that don't have to do that all day every day don't understand what the big deal is. But Rack, at what point do you get annoyed when people keep on asking you?
Okay, so you got my mind spinning in 12 different directions for a number of different reasons. But first off, when I interrupted you earlier and you so level, you continued as if I didn't say anything, and I'm so happy you did. There's some genius came up with this restaurant called Wonder. And if you want Thai food and she wants pizza and I want hamburgers, we can order all three from the same place. Under this, and it's one phone call. So that they're trying to solve the issue that you're talking about. But again, then it turns into a I hate that place, or different issues. But some genius came up with this idea of putting 12 restaurants under one roof, and
It's
and
called the
and
food court in the mall, circa
you know
1986.
yeah, but then you got to wait on six different lines. But anyways, so that's one thing. But the the the, the um the teeth grinding that I get from this question, because it took me a while to learn the wisdom of no is an answer. It just might be the one you want to hear, but no is an answer. So to accept the no, there's some wisdom behind that, but again, it depends on the person asking and their point of view also. Um, you know, it,
Okay, I have a question for you
it's a
specific to
contextual thing.
because
Go for it.
you are a charmer and you are the king of perseverance. So, how do you get around a no to continue a conversation without being smarmy? Because in this day and age, you get all of these, people don't know how to be polite. People don't know how to extricate themselves from a conversation. People are just like, I don't want to fucking talk to you. Blah, 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 blah. Get all the attention and be like, he was harassing me when all you did was ask a question. So how do you continue a conversation or shift gears in a conversation to not feel like you are pushing for anything and yet still walk
like
away with a number?
like I tend to do. I kind of make it into a joke. And this a specific answer to the kind of question that you're talking about. Uh, in an intimate situation, my line is usually, oh no, you're not allowed to say no unless I'm asking you if you want me to stop. So I like to play with the English and the situation and whatnot, and it comes across a joke, but at the same time, about it and kind of get away with it too. So my intention is clear, and usually for me that's enough, as long as people know what my intention is. If they're gonna want to go in a different direction, if they're gonna want to ignore me or veto me or whatever, I'm okay with that. I don't have to be the end all be all, and follow me and leader of the pack, or it's like I'm good with it. So especially when it comes to food, because I'll find anywhere you take me, I'll find something. But in other situations, like you're describing, did you want to go to the mall? If that's a no, that's a different scenario. But the teeth grinding that I was referring to was I was married to someone that it was one of those. She would just keep asking the question until she got the answer she wanted to hear. You know, what do you want for dinner? Oh, you decide. Okay, well, let's get pizza. Oh, I'm not in the mood for pizza. We just had pizza the other night. Well, let's get Thai food. Oh, I hate Thai food. How do you
I've
feel
been
about
that
Indian
girl.
food? Uh,
It's
but
funny
but
because
but
you don't know what you don't want, and you don't know what you want.
right.
But the only polite thing at that point is to be like, I'm not sure. Just keep throwing things at me. We'll see where we land. I'll give you a little bit of warning first, because otherwise you're just picking a fight. You're not going to be happy. You know what? Cook for your damn self. I'm going out. You know, because what do you do at that
See
point? You can't
see
win.
see. Well, for me also, it I don't mind the back and forth. Like, not sure, you're not sure. It doesn't really bother me, because I get the uncertainty. I get the but if you got something in mind, and you want, Don't offer me the choice and then take it away from me.
Yeah,
Don't say
seriously,
you
that's true.
choose and then I'll choose. And don't say you choose and then I choose and then you just like keep asking the question. It's like, okay, so if there's something you really want, why don't you just tell me what you want, and we could save a couple of minutes and go out for dessert afterwards. That drives me more crazy than the well, I'm not in the mood for that, or I'm okay with the little banter and the back and forth, because I grew up with a gang of like 6 8 kids, and we would hang out. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? And nothing ends
Right?
up getting done because everybody's like, everyone's like, I don't care. So it is, but we're doing it together. You know,
But I'm the one that's like,
it's
great, then we're gonna go and do this. And then somebody's gonna say, well, we always do what you want to do. It's because y'all never want to fucking do anything. I would
because
gladly
I'm the only
do
one that makes a
something different.
decision.
Yeah. I was like, you choose something, I'll be happy to accompany you. No guarantees I won't complain because I complain about everything, even the shit that I want to do. But
Right.
I'll be happy to go and do all the new things. But you don't get to complain that we do what I want to do if you refuse to make a fucking choice. Now, I have
Yeah.
found two things
Yeah.
that are true. One, I really, unless I know what I want, I've had a hankering, I really don't care what we eat so long as it's
Mm.
not on the list of food that I don't eat. Number two,
Pepperoni pizza.
exactly, if you come home and you're bringing me a bunch of freaking fried chicken or you're bringing me whatever the fuck I don't have to cook, I thank you very much. So long as it's not on my list of foods that I don't eat, I don't give a shit what it is. You can make me peanut butter and jelly sandwiches so long as I don't have to think about it and feed the kids. You're good, you know. But that's very different than asking me and giving me stress and making me do all the choices. And you're like, well, you choose and I'll go get it. Fuck you. You choose, you go get it, you bring it home without asking me, and I'll be good. Because nothing was better than when I was having a hard day with the kids and he'd walk through the door
Bucket of
with
chicken.
food. Just whatever it was. I don't care if it's Chinese. I don't give a shit. You know? I was just like, oh, thank God. you know? But if he did that and I was already halfway through cooking, I would be just as fucking pissed. Because now I have to finish cooking and then put it away and then do all the stuff because you can't not eat this. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, geez Louise. So if you're running later than you thought, just shoot me a text. Be like, don't cook. All right. Don't have to ask me twice. Because it's a lot at the end of the day. It just really, really is, especially when, you're working through this stuff. You have all the kids' extracurriculars, you've got all the bath time, all the different bedtimes, all the nonsense, and all the food, and all the dishes. And oh, they need clean clothes tomorrow. God damn it, I forgot to do laundry because I wasn't home all day. It's a lot. And so if they remove that one thing, the whole entire evening is wonderful, and you might actually get lucky because there's now 5 minutes to relax, and I don't know that people understand that, because if that's not their life, because, women, parents, moms specifically, but women in general tend to just do all the things, not because it's what they're taught, not because it's their role, it's because we love you. It's because we like to take care of the people that we love. So if that means cooking, or that means making sure they have their lucky tie for their big meetings, if that means that when they toss their shoes somewhere, you put them where they'll find them in the morning, so they don't have to wake you up at the butt crack of dawn to find their fucking shoes. But then we kind of train people to be stupid because they'll never learn to put their shoes away, because then, and where are my freaking shoes? Where you drop them on your way to the toilet? I don't know what to tell you. So dance if you do, dance
It's
if you
different
don't.
when you can't see.
This is true. But I'm telling you, it's just the expectations are crazy, and half the time we do it to ourselves, and half the time it starts because the guys complain about everything. Well, my mom used to, or my first wife used to, or my
Oh
last,
no.
then go. Then go then. If somebody else did it differently and you liked it better, I'm not changing who I am to match your ex, whatever the fuck. They're an ex for a reason. Just go. Because do not compare me to other people and think I'm going to fall short, because let me tell you about your shortcomings. You're not going to like the list. But the thing is, we don't hold them against the people. Like, here's the thing. We don't love people despite their so-called flaws. We kind of love them because of them, because that's what makes them unique. All of their quirkiness, it's
Yeah.
encompassed with who they are, and we don't want to change all that, because then they'll be a different person. But there's a huge faction of people that don't, you know, ascribe to that or abide by that, whatever the fuck. They're all like, well, you need to do this better. And my mom did it better. And my last wife did it better. And my dog can do it better than you. You know what? You take your dog and you go live with your mom, because the answer is fuck you. And we have to learn to forge our own friendships, our own relationships by our own parameters. And it's a hard thing to do, because people tend to be set in their ways. And let's just say you're at a new job and you've got a bunch of girls. I listen, I'm a girl, so I don't know from guys, okay? So you've got, you make a bunch of work friends. You've been working this place for a couple of years and you've got your work friends, and some of these work friends kind of spill over into your regular life. And the problem is, if you met them at work and you are still working there, it is a very difficult thing to untier a personal friendship from the working relationship. So okay, when I was 18 years old and I was working, customer service at Builder Square, um I had 2 friends that were supervisors. I was not. They were not management. They were just, low level whatever supervisors. And, one I was friends with before, me and her were fine. One I wasn't, and whenever we would go anywhere, if we didn't wanna do what she would do, she would be all kinds of fucking pissy. Like, how dare us not do what she said, because she's the boss of us. You're not the fucking boss of me. Yeah, I don't even ask you for shit at work. I don't care what your title is, you know? But she would be pissy and then take it out on you on work. She would give you a shitty schedule. She would be really, really slow to come and undo whatever at the register. And I'm just like, I'm the only one ever called her out and said, listen, I get that we didn't do what you wanted to do last night, but maybe don't screw me at work, because I wouldn't do that to you. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, kiss my ass. Because I don't know how to sit on things that I know are true, you know? Maybe I'm an asshole. I'm okay with that though. So I have a problem a lot with the word no, because there isn't a single movie, book, anything that doesn't have scenarios that are, the art of persuasion. They have entire
Yeah.
um careers based on the art of persuasion. Anybody that's ever had to sell anything, it is the art of persuasion. It is the gift of gab. It is, if you're sitting there and you get a bonus on your um I forget what you call the little stupid after sales, like all the things by the register, the upsells. If you get a commission or a bonus on your percentage of things
Impulse
that you
items.
upsell, yeah, then if you're talking them into all this shit, that is a persuasion. You're fully manipulating them on purpose for your own gain. And the thing is, I know somebody who is so good at this that you don't even think that you think everything's your idea. So good at it. His numbers are
Yeah.
through the roof,
Yeah.
so much more than anybody in the region, not just in the store. And they always start by saying no. And then he has a whole conversation sideways, comes back to it. Are you sure? Oh, you know what? I think that's a good idea. Thanks. And now they bought $20 worth of batteries that they didn't need because they just bought batteries last week.
Oh God.
And I'm like,
There's
how
a
is that
joke
even?
about that.
But it's funny
There's a joke
because
about that on the internet. I'm not gonna tell it. I just, if anyone wants to care to look it up, it has to do with someone buying a boat. Anyways,
and so at what point is that okay? And then doing that in real life to people that you know on a personal level, not okay. Okay, I don't know who is touching things on the screen, but I can't deal with it when I'm running a show.
That was an accident. I'm sorry. I was trying to. That was me. I'm bad. Sorry. It
Okay,
was a total
can you
accident.
fix it?
Yeah. Sorry.
And it gives me anxiety, I'm just saying. So the problem is, where is that line? You know?
yes.
Where is it at? I got it. Just I got it. Where is that line between uh that soft sell where somebody thinks it's their idea and you do it for a living and then manipulating the people in your own life? I mean, is it any better if they don't feel it until they realize that they do everything that you ask them to do and you do nothing that they need? Like, at what point is it coercion? At what point is it bullying? I think that if you're going to push me after I say no, you're trying to bully me, leave me the fuck alone. You know, if I can't trust you to stop when I say stop, we have an issue, but I also have trauma, so I could just be an asshole and I'm okay with that, you know? And so I wonder where we are, where I fall on that spectrum. So I'm going to say something completely out of left field. I was having a talk with my youngest because GTA 6 is coming out, and one of my kids is all like, "I'm gonna spend the $200 on the ultimate, whatever. Your fucking money, enjoy." And my youngest is like, "Yeah, everybody loves that fucking game because in that game you can do all the bad things. You don't have to do all the bad things, but you can do all the bad things. You know, you can literally pick up a prostitute and have at it in the back of a gutted fucking ambulance on the
Love
side of the
it.
road. They don't give a shit. You can do whatever the hell you want." And my question was, how is that fun? There is zero way. Now I've played it before, and I mean, it is what it is. I'd rather shoot zombies and things. I'd rather just play World of Warcraft and do other fucking shit, Black Ops and all the crap. That I can do. I can shoot people all fucking day. But I have zero desire to break the law and run around crazy. Well, you don't have to. Okay, so how is that any different than, I mean, like, who wants to go into a game where you can do all the bad things and then not do any of the bad things? But I don't work that way. That's not fun to me. And my kids like, you really don't know how to have fun. I know how to have fun that I like, but I don't find things exciting in
My
real
idea of
life.
fun is different than yours.
I was like, if I am so lawful good that the idea of stealing a car to me it has never occurred to, I never crossed my mind, never occurred to me. I don't steal. I'm a very, unfortunate goody two shoes, not because I want to be, I'm just made that way. That it gives me anxiety to think of doing these things. Why then would I jump into that as in a video game? It serves no purpose. Video games are supposed to relax you. Like, you're supposed to take your mind off your shit. You jump in there, you're like, and play the game. And then when you're done, you're like, "Ooh, that was nice." Because it's not real stress. No, that's real stress to me. And now, ironically speaking, and I don't know what this says about me. If there's a game where I'm gonna play full on let me gut you serial killer, if I can beat Jack the Ripper, I might. And that probably wouldn't give me anxiety because I'm a twisted bitch. But um but all these unlawful things just don't appeal to me. Now, again, don't get me wrong. I used to love Mortal Kombat. I can kill the people. I can rip their spines out by their skull. I can do that. That doesn't bother me. It's members of that
Finish
gang, but
him.
I exactly. I don't know how to do all the bad things, and the problem with that is not that I don't know. I'm very good at doing bad things. I don't like doing the bad things because it feels nauseating. It absolutely makes me sick to my stomach. I don't like who I am, and I've been that way since I was little. Having said that, I'm sorry for the coughing. My throat is just not okay. My so
Yeah.
so here's the thing. The people that sell let's just say the quintessential smarmy used car salesman, the sharks, the ones that know you can't afford it, that
Oh.
get you in over your head, that do all the stuff to make their quotas. How do they not pull that into their home life, into their personal life that isn't work? Because that's not something in the people that I have known that they can turn that off. Now, being charismatic and being a good salesperson, you know, those have very blurry edges. Being a hard, pushy shark that gives no shit about anything but their bottom line, that's a part of a personality that does not turn off. They can kind of hide it when they meet you, but it does not turn off. These are people that manipulate, that have to get their way, or in my experience, for the most part, they are a bunch of little whiny bitches, so that they make you so miserable that you give in. And I'm just like, you know, and it's why I don't keep these people around, because if you're going to act like a grown child, I have enough children, and now if my children that are younger than you act more adult than you, then I don't need to know you, because I ain't your mama and it ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? So my youngest, excuse me, who is 16, um, he said something to me. And I don't remember what it was. It was earlier today. And and I asked him a question. And he said, "No." And then 15 minutes later, I had forgot that I asked him. I asked him again. He's like, "Why do you have to bully me?" And I'm just like, "I could bully you if you want me to, because I'm your mama and what I say goes." And he's just like, "I said nothing." I was like, "I didn't think so." But all in jest, by the way, because we were laughing. This was not a serious conversation. But and this is it made me think how perfect that this show is today, because um, manipulation, bullying, coercion, and persuasion, to me, are the same exact thing, just different levels of pressure. But you start with the art of persuasion, and then it's manipulation, it's bullying, it's coercion. It is what it is. It's making somebody, you know, do what you want them to do, or do something other than what they actually want to do. And it doesn't matter if they feel okay with it because it's the lesser of two evils or not. If they started someplace and said, I don't want to do that, and they ended up letting you do it anyway because just to shut you the fuck up, that is not consent, number one. Number two, you're an asshole. How is that okay? Is that one? Does that not feel like shit? Like, well, I didn't make her do anything, or I didn't make him do. Yeah, you kind of did, because it's like when your kid is like, well, I don't want to, and I did this and I did that, and let me do this and let me do that, blah 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 blah, and they still haven't done the fucking dishes. You're either going to make their lives miserable, which makes you feel like shit, or you're going to do the fucking dishes. I don't do the fucking dishes. I will let them be miserable, because you learn the hard way, you know? They will get you with the "I am so tired. I had, I was up so late studying." No, you weren't. But okay. Or "I've got so many things after school. I don't have enough time. I don't have time to do whatever. And I never see my kid. Can you please? No, I'm not doing these. Are your chores. Squeeze it in there, you know? But a lot of people are afraid of saying no, because the experience is that when you say no, they're gonna just ask somebody else, and they're not gonna want you for nothing. They're not gonna want you around. They're not gonna wanna be your friend. They're not gonna ask you to do all the things. They're not gonna, because, um, petty adolescence does that. you know? You don't ever wanna go shopping with the girls that go shopping, they stop asking you to go shopping, then you're no longer in the circle and now you're not friends. And that's the way that that tends to play out on some level with with teenagers, you know? People like to do the same things or they don't. And even if you don't like to do the same things, you kinda hang out with them doing the same things because there are worse things than that. Like you could stay home with your mama there, or you could, you know, pretend you like to go dress, you know? At least you're out of the fucking house. So it's just an interesting thing to me because in our generation, you know, okay, so we are the kings and queens of sarcasm. This is true. But we're also, polite society. We're also yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. We're also holding the door for the elderly. We're also these people, please and thank you. We are also all of that. And now people think that we're disrespectful because we don't cater to the younger people. And we don't. We raise you to be the little bitches that you are. And you know who you are. You know that you're all soft. You know that you don't stand up for yourselves the way your parents had to. You know that there's this intense sense of entitlement in this instant gratification world that's not everybody, but that leans towards, well, I want it, so why can't I get it? I deserve all the things. Work for all the fucking things. Nobody is forced to know. Nobody needs to give you anything. It is not anybody else's job to make sure you have the things once you are grown. Get the things your damn self, work for it, and be proud of yourself. Have a little self respect. Don't act like an asshole because somebody's not going to give you something that you want. And it drives me fucking nuts. I've got family members that, God forbid you say no, they don't fucking talk to you. I was like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. Then that's a nice no. And next thing you know, you're evil and they don't have shit to say to you. And then they will act nice in a couple of months once it blows over. What the fuck did I do now? I did not conform to plans I didn't know were there. And that's the way society is. Everybody thinks that they are the end all be all of everybody's everything because they live in their own myopia. Now, everybody does to a certain degree. But entitlement is not just bad, I'm finger quoting Karen behavior. I mean, they're just assholes. I mean, there is zero reason to throw a fit like a baby because, I mean, you're a grown ass person. Just shut your pie hole and know your place. You know, it is never anybody's place to go into to other people's business with your own agenda. Just shut your pie hole and mind your own business. But we have a whole generation of young people that think that their shit doesn't stink, that think that they can just walk in and be, and it's not even just this pretty privilege, it's just entitlement, this sense that everything should be doted on them because they want it, and it's not even about money they grew up with or money that they have or anything. It's just, I'm worth it. I'm worth it. I need a me day. Earn it for fuck's sake. You can't be exhausted from shopping. You need to be exhausted from life itself, from work in your me days in between your job, your home life, your friends, things that you do that actually take thought and time and preparation. If all you do is nothing, why do you need a whole me day? I I was lucky enough to stay at home with my kids. I promise you, I never had a day off. I was not one of those people that okay, no, okay, wait. I was gonna say I'm not one of those people that nap all day. Sweetie, when my kids were little, I was in that recliner with a newborn on one arm, and a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old on the other, and that one was watching TV, the other one was asleep, and I can feel them move. So if I could sleep for that half hour, I was out. But that's because I was exhausted, So there's no me time, that I had to curate that into everybody's schedule, that I had to do that myself or I would lose my mind. So I was like, listen, at 8 weeks of 24/7, I'm a little crazy. At 12 weeks, I'm slightly intolerable at 16 weeks. I lose my ever loving mind, and you're going to get what you get. And I'm not going to feel bad if I'm mean to you because I will have no sense if I have to do this for 4 straight months without a break and going to a grocery store to do more chores, as in buying stuff for the family, is not a fucking break. So I would get a week every 8 to 12
3 months.
weeks. Um, about I would get a week to myself, and I earned it because it took me 10 years to fight for that shit. And there was no way to say no because I made provisions for all of the kids' schedules for that week. I made sure everything was taken care of, all of this stuff. And I would even take the youngest when he was a baby and drop him off with my mom. So there is no excuse for nothing, you know? And and I think that that was well deserved. But I know people that have a cleaning lady come 3 times a week that they're not in charge of grocery shopping. I don't know what the fuck they do. And they're constantly, I need a me day. What to do fucking what? I was like, I understand if you need to go and get your manicures and your facials and you once a week, once every 2 weeks. Okay, that's fine. But when they say a me day, that they will turn off their phone, they will go full spa, they will go on whatever shopping therapy. They will not be in touch with anybody. They're going to go and drink all the mimosas for brunch with their friends and be gone for an entire day. Like their life is so hard that they can't exist in a place that, holds them accountable to any kind of time. I'm like, you do you. If that's fine, if that's what you that's but don't sit there and make a thing out of it like you're so exhausted and you work so freaking hard because I find that to be ridiculous. And okay, so I'm judgy. Yes, I am. Do I care? No, I fucking don't. But I have a problem. Obviously, I don't know. I'm slightly embittered. I have a problem with people that don't take no for an answer and also expect everybody to do everything for them because they tend to be there tends to be a lot of crossover where they expect people to do the things, but they won't do anything for anybody else. So how does that then fucking work? All they say is no, and they expect everybody to say yes because, Sweet Pea, you've met these people, yeah, the ones that do nothing for anybody but expect everybody to do things for them just because they ask nice.
Oh my God, yes. I
It's
know
hideous.
several.
Let's say hi to Boodle. Hey, bud. And
So they figure
and
it out.
how do you deal with these fucking people? You know, I am super judgy tonight. I don't know what my problem is. I think I've had about enough of people because they're the bane of my existence. Because sometimes people suck. The thing is, once they show you who they are, once you know how they talk about the other people around you, you need to know that they're talking shit about you. Yeah, there's this one girl that we all knew. Oh, I am
Yes.
spreading fucking tea. There's this one girl that we all knew that was such a manipulative d bag that she would tell you something that she was perfectly fine telling everybody, but it's something so personal that you would think she's only telling you so she can get the skinny on you because the way conversations work, if somebody shares something deep and meaningful, you feel like it's a safe place to
You
then share a little
return.
something about yourself. That's how people, I'm finger quoting Bond. She would absolutely manipulate everybody with what turns out to be mostly lies to tell them all the things. And then she would go around and tell other people all the things to prove that she is trustworthy. Look, this person trusted me with this, and people would buy it. And I'm like, that you just what? So no, I don't know how people fall for this to make I don't know how she ever made it sound like honesty. I was just like, you just told me somebody's secret. So do they know that they can't trust you? No, but they did trust me. I was like, yes, but now I know. I should not know because that was a secret. That was their personal business. I know so much about people that I never wanted to know because other people tell me. And I'm just like, that's not my fucking business. And I'm just like, wow. It's like people don't understand how to respect somebody's privacy. People don't understand how not to push for things because everybody's fucking nosy. That's me. I'm also nosy. But people just tell me things. I don't have to dig, you know? And it's just it's crazy that people get so offended when somebody literally just says no. The amount of side arguments I've had to have when I am busy. Okay, so listen, if I am actually all the way across the house in my little cubby hole of a bonus room where my computer setup is, if I am in here, I promise you I'm not in here for fucking fun. I'm in here because I'm working, because I've got things to do. That's the quickest way for me to do it because I'm very much, I need all the screens. And so if people are going to come in here and ask me questions, it's yes, no, what do you need? You know? And my family knows that a yes or no means take the answer and get the fuck out, you know? But I have people that are like, are you mad at me?
Are
You
you
asked
mad
me a
at
yes
me?
or no question. The answer was no. What was that confusing? I am busy. You knew I was busy. I have blocked out these 4 hours. I tell everybody that I think might contact me, listen, I'm going to be incapacitated until like 4 o'clock. So if somebody's gonna bother me and be like, "Hey, um, that movie we were talking about, yada yada yada, blah blah blah." No, and are you mad? No, I'm not fucking mad at you. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Leave me the fuck alone. I will be free after 4. But if I just say no, for some reason, even in a text, people read me like I'm a bitch. I was like, how about we start with the question that you asked and then understand my answer? I mean, it's a yes or no question. It's a yes or no answer. Why then, if I answer yes or no, are you going to ask me if I'm mad at you? Because I didn't add a whole sentence after the word no, because I didn't qualify my response, because I didn't give you more time. You asked a yes or no fucking question. If I don't want to have a conversation about being mad at you, because that will make me mad at you. Is that what you want? Because I'll give it to you. Oh, I sound like a bitch. I am actually very accommodating. I
Yes.
really, really am. And I will bend over backwards. But if you do not show any respect for my time, I will show you equal respect. And then you're going to get pissed off at me because I'm the bitch, you know? And that's the whole problem. I have a big problem
Queen of
if
the
I
bitches.
say, well, I'm fine being a bitch. I have a big problem if I say, call me after 6 and somebody calls me at 4 o'clock. Oh, I just couldn't wait. Well, I can't talk to you. And I move on. They're like, oh, I pissed her off. No,
You didn't follow
I can't
instructions.
talk to you. Yeah. And then they want to waste the time that I do have talking about how I made them uncomfortable or hurt their feelings. Respect what I tell you. At least say, listen, I know I'm not supposed to bother you before 6, but I wanted to let you know that you're on my mind. I don't need a response. Just thinking of you. I would have I yay that I don't need a response. I'll still be like, listen, can you tell me you were thinking of me later? Can you have them all just type up all the texts and have them all send at 6? Because it's still
Schedule
very
message.
distracting. I mean, seriously, it's not that difficult. I'm really not that difficult, and I rarely ever have times that I don't, But people feel some kind of way. But these are also people that when they're not in the mood, they'll say no and move on. Be like, what did I fucking tell you? Who are you talking to that way? I curse a lot, but if I am having a conversation with somebody and asking them for something, or having, I'm not cursing at them. You know what I mean? They're like,
Yeah.
don't fucking talk to me with blah, blah, blah. Ooh, you might want to retract that tone and start again. Because that right there, that's gonna cause a fight. Because if I'm not like, listen, bitch, what the fuck did I tell you? If I'm not talking to you that way, don't come at me with that energy. I don't care if you're cursing conversation, obviously. I really don't. But don't come at me for nothing. And if you have something to say to me and you're going to come at me that way, I'm already going to prove you wrong. You, there's zero reason
Mm-mm.
to have a conversation with somebody that you're trying to convey something to that you're not going to have at least a modicum of some kind of respect and start with self-respect because I will never understand how you want something from somebody, but you're going to demand things in all crassness and zero respect, you know? Says the girl that says fuck every 2 seconds. But, hey, I say it to the people that I love. So I don't know. I've got issues, and I've already talked for a fucking hour. Might as well read some poetry because it's a thing. So let's go ahead and do announcements before we even start the poetry because it's already announcement time. Because I talk a whole hell of a lot, which is fine. And today I am ranting. I don't always rant. Sometimes I also blubber. So it is. Um, it's coming up on Thursday, the 27th. Sweet. Are you ready? Not Thursday the 27th, Thursday the 2nd, because I know I'm in the right week. It's fine.
It's Thursday, July 2nd is yes, but what do I get?
Yes.
It seems that doing something because it's the right thing to do, just because or out of kindness, has fallen out of favor in this instant entitlement society where everything feels transactional and everything has a price. Whatever happened to kindness?
Seriously. And on Tuesday, July 7th, it is penned by the ghost of her pain. Everyone needs a safe place to purge pain, a place without outside judgment. For some, it's sports, others art. Then there are poets. It's the beauty of words that weave the tapestry of the human condition. This is a safe place to purge in the whispers and screams in beautiful words.
And then on Thursday, July 9th at 10 p.m., it is The Shape of Us. Love actually rewires our brains by releasing yeah, I can't even say the word, oxytocin, lowering physical stress. It can help us live longer, or it can actually help us live less. It can be a bitter pill to swallow. Ultimately, love acts as both a mirror and a medicine. I want to know how love has shaped you.
So that is coming up next week, this week, Thursday, and next week, and things to look forward to. So I have some poetry to put up on the board. And I listen, I did not write anything new. I have not written anything new since quite a bit, and I don't know when I will again. So you can get all my old shit, and
You write
and
it.
it is what it is.
You write new stuff
Because
every day on when you put up the topic boards.
I mean that's not fucking poetry. Okay, so this
It's
is,
still it's writing.
I mean, barely. I would not count that as writing. It takes no thought. Okay, this is Thanks But No Thanks by me, Pretty Bird. And it goes like this. I can read your mind when you dip your chin and look up at me with half closed eyes, licking your lips like that'll make me want you. Because every woman wants to be meat in a garbage can. And yes, I know what I'm doing when I walk away. Keep your hands to yourself, lest your ego get away from you like I wish you would get away from me. Don't stroke my hair, and I won't crush that fragile ego you strut behind. I'm neither your mommy nor your baby. I am not your friend. And no, you cannot touch me. You aren't cute when you can't take a hint. And I'm not a bitch when I say no. But hey, your friend's kind of cute. Thanks for telling him I'm frigid because that's the only reason a woman wouldn't want you. Call me Crystal because I'm that clear. Disrespect and bullying are not going to get you laid. Not here. Not me. Thanks for the drink. I never said I'd fuck you. End poem.
Oh, I love this. Oh, yeah, really. I mean, come at me with all your lines, but take a hint. Buy me a drink. That doesn't mean I'm going to fuck you. Oh my God, I love this. Don't stroke my hair and I won't crush that fragile ego you strut behind. Oh, this is like a letter that should be like, we should hand out. Like, hello, thanks for your drink, but here's your letter. I, yeah. Thanks. That's oh yeah. But hey, your friend is kind of cute, and thanks for telling him I'm frigid because that's the only reason a woman wouldn't want you. Oh, I love that. Call me Crystal because I'm clear. Yeah. Thanks for the drink. I never said I fuck you. Oh, this is so funny. Almost every line in it is got such a like teeth to it because it's so true, and and it's got such humor to it because the satire in it is like I don't know how many times I would have loved to had these lines just spew out of my mouth because it's like, oh, hey, baby, hey, darling, how, and they always want to touch my hair. And it
Or they
drives me
smell
insane.
mine. Like freaking
Oh,
dog smells an asshole. It's horrible.
I cannot stand it. Did don't touch me. You don't know me. I don't care where I am. And it's not just in bars, like, the, hey, and
Fucking
the first,
Walmart, somebody goes, it's
yeah,
not
like,
okay.
excuse me. No,
Exactly.
get your hands out of my hair. I mean, I don't know what it is. Well, I'm a little short, so I get a lot from the top of my head. Like very tall men like to touch the top of my head and like run. I'm like, who? What? I don't care if I'm waist high to you. That's not an invitation. So it's just very weird. So I really, really like this a lot. Um, yeah, this is just great. Like I said, this should be like you should sell this as in little envelopes for women just to hand out at bars. You'd make a fortune. I really like it. Mr. Raconteur, your thoughts?
So cut out the middleman. We could print them up on cocktail napkins and coasters. I mean, it's good. It's good advice, you know. And I appreciate your frustration. Um, oh, it's funny that if me personally, if I approach someone or something, it's always in the back of my head, like am I going to give them something sarcastic to say, or am I going to give them at least something to smile about? And yeah, it's I kind of try and take that into account when I engage. So hopefully I've never sparked anyone's ire to that degree, but obviously it's possible and probable that it happened, and I was just oblivious to it because I've got a penis. So there's that.
You want to know the weirdest truth? Um, okay, so the first person I ever picked up in a bar. Now, I do not pick up people at a bar, and I always give a fake phone number. But I was talking to this guy, I think 3 hours, and we were actually we were dancing, he was rubbing things against me. I was like, maybe not. So he took a hint, and he was respectful. Otherwise, only bought me one drink because I didn't want anything else. And then we sat outside and we talked for a long fucking time. So I made the mistake of letting him take me home. You know where he took me?
His
He
house.
took yes, this is the guy that at 1 o'clock in the morning took me home to meet his mother.
She's
What
Oh,
in the
nice.
actual fuck? And
Owen.
I'm like, I
Owen.
am so seriously. I was like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. And he's like, no, we're good. She's cool. Did you want something? She'll cook. No, you make your mother cook, and I'm walking home. Because hell no. I mean, what the hell? I'm like, first of all, yo mama isn't your bitch. Second of all, I would find it so disrespectful. I'm Hispanic. We do not roll into a stranger's house after 9 o'clock ever. Okay. It does. I was mortified, absolutely mortified. So, I did let him kiss me goodnight though, because he was hot as fuck. I don't know what to tell you, but we did not do anything. And ironically, he was supposed to pick me up from work a week later, and his father, who had run out on them, I'm telling you all the skinny, ended up just popping into the house. And so he almost went to jail for beating up his dad on the night he was supposed to take me home from work. So my friend was taking me home from work, and lo and behold, that's the night that I met my future husband, because I had to wait for the ride. And he rolled up with his friend who decided to hook up in the back lot with my friend. And so I had to wait till that nastiness was done. And so I was like, listen, I'm not going to sit here bent over your little prelude talking to you like I'm a lady of the night. If you want to talk to me, I'll be over here. And then he sat there for like 5 whole minutes before he actually got out of the car. And I was laughing because if you've ever seen a Honda Prelude, that's a very low car. It's a little low car. This guy is 6'4". When he stood up, that car looked waist high, and I could not stop laughing. But and I ended up keeping him, so yay. But yeah, I mean, who decides to pick somebody up at a bar for the first time ever and they take you home to meet their mother? Like, for fuck's sake, no. And Buzz, they're going, me, sounds like me. But you're actually nice. And I don't think that you would roll anybody into your mama's house at 1 o'clock in the morning, you know? But oh yeah, interesting stuff. So I put Bud up on the board. We need to fix how your microphone doesn't pick up over here because I would love you to read your own stuff and it's just not doing anything, which sucks. So let me know when you're free, and I'll try to troubleshoot with you tomorrow or whenever. So I just read. So sweet, you want to read?
Sure. But first, I'm picturing your honey getting out of that car. That totally cracks me up.
Okay, so the favorite car I ever owned was CRX, right?
Yeah.
And Hondas have a lot of leg room. And so he fit in that car better than he fit in a Mustang, better than he fit in your standard size truck, because he's tall, has long legs. And he loved that little five speed little CRX SI sunroof. The bigger engine literally is 1.5 liters. It's a very tiny lawnmower looking engine, but it's a fast little fucker. And he loved that car. And every time he got out of the car, literally at his waistband, and I'm sitting there going, nah, 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 because that's exactly what he looked like crawling out of that little car. And it cracked me up. I miss that car.
My mother had one of those. She loved that car too.
Because it's awesome.
Hmm. Okay. This is Thank You, But No by Budo. Many, many moons ago, when I was a young buck, I went out with work buddies in their dilapidated truck. We hit local watering holes. The time drank itself away. We ended at the skiff to put away the long day. Killian's was the beer of choice. $5 a pitcher, awful nice. We drank our plenty and then some. I was totaled, drunk, dumb, and numb. When all of a sudden this tall Indian in jeans and a tie sat next to me at the bar, offered me pitchers, and fed me fries. I could not recollect. I could not recollect what happened next. Recollect. They said he had asked me something about sex. I jumped up and yelled, "Thank you, but no," and proceeded to make friends with the barroom floor below. My buddies, my buds, they came to my aid and rescued my body from future escapades. I woke up the next morning with the sun in my face. My buddies had safely brought me home to Newport News, my place. I found a paper folded in my pocket. It read, Yatta Hay. That's what I tossed it. Killian's went pouring all over the rug where I just snuggled like a warm, toasty bug. I never drank that red beer again, afraid to meet that gentleman. My bar hopping days did end. I switched to sake from Japan. The end?
OMG. That is some funny shit. That is funny, funny, funny. Here's the thing. I love that you're drunk as a skunk, but still had the wherewithal to be like, thank you, but no, and head on out. I mean, your legs didn't work worth a damn, but you know, at least your friends save you from those escapades. It's funny because I grew up, in the suburbs of Fort Lauderdale, and I would spend, half my summers in New York. And so so if you're in the city and then you're in Fort Lauderdale, which has, Wilton Manors is a thing, there is a lot of um really, really pretty men, like really pretty effeminate, pretty men. I don't care if they're in a dress or not in a dress. These people are freaking beautiful. And some of them are more feminine than I am. I mean, I have boobs, but I also have this personality. I'm just saying. And yeah, I would laugh when we would go to clubs downtown because you know when you're drunk, you don't notice an Adam's apple, and if they are like um, these little
Purdy.
thin, very very ladylike uh, women that have extra bits and pieces, sometimes you don't know. I've seen many a drunk man kiss many a sober, not, you know. Yeah. Anyway, and when you're like, that was a man, right? No, was it? Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. Tell me
False
you're lying.
advertising.
Tell me you're lying. And I'm just like, listen, in your fantasies and your dreams and however you remember what you want, but just just at least you just kiss them. I mean, the little crying game situation going on there. And but who gives a shit if that's what they like, but they just didn't know. Because not for nothing. I know a lot of different factions of LGBTQ and all the letters. And nobody that is dressed as I don't care if you're a drag queen, I don't care if you're a transvestite, I don't care if you are starting your transition. And for those who don't know, those are three very different fucking things. None of them say, oh, by the way, I still have my twigs and berries, unless it's going to get to the point where you want to see what's underneath their skirt. So it's not something that they're going to be like, I know you think I'm beautiful, but I'm a dude, because that's no that negates the whole fucking thing. So, and it's not anybody's business if they're not going to do anything. Now, personally, I don't stick my tongue down anybody's throat if I don't know them. I don't do strange. I don't swap any kind of fluids with people I don't know well enough or want to get to know well enough. I don't kiss people in bars, never have, never will. I am very, when I say I'm goody two shoes, I'm a goody two shoes, not because I want to be, just because I get grossed out. And so I don't see anything wrong with not telling people that you're not having, any kind of possible sex with. But if you're going to be kissing somebody and they don't know, maybe that's a little deceitful. I'm just saying. But I'm loving this freaking story because it is hysterical. It is very polite and right, completely in line with who I know you to be, because you're just not rude. You're just not a hell no kind of guy. You're very much, oh, thanks, but no, and move the fuck on. And it is freaking fabulous. I love that, your move the fuck on is straight to the floor because gravity is no drunkard's friend. I am just saying, and that your friends probably dying of laughter at least got you where you needed to be before last night, wore your wore your rug to prom. But I absolutely love the way you told us. It's very 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 vivid, absolutely hysterical. So Sweet Pea, your thoughts?
I think I probably read it with more sing song enthusiasm than Bud would. Um, but I've read it before and I've loved this because it just it cracks me up because I could pretty much never see you in the situation, but I guess it might have been a real situation just looking at some of the comments. Um, but you are so polite and you're so gentle, and I can just see you saying, "No, sir, no, thank you. That's just not my style." And but the fact that you were totally drunk, dumb, and numb, that also cracks me up. I just, it's so funny and so great that you know you're just so polite about it because I don't know a lot of men in my life personally would have been that polite. But then again, there's not a lot you can do when you're totally blitz drunk either. You don't have a lot of fight in you. You might have a lot of a lot of gusto and think you have fight, but you really don't. But I love the fact you switched to sake because, as far as I know, sake is a lot harder than beer. Um, but I don't drink sake, so I don't know. But from what I've heard, it is. So good luck with that. But yeah, I do love this. So I kind of put a little oomph and enthusiasm in it. So it's a great write. Raconteur, your thoughts?
My first thought was, yeah, I think you do meet a better class of people drinking sake. But the other thing was, he bought you French fries, and you fell face down on the floor, so he kind of got his money's worth. Um, anyways, because the view. Um, anyways, I feel for you, bud. I do. Little I don't know, surprised, but not. You know. I enjoy the tale, and
I think he got a little
I
surprise
think we would have a
himself.
lot. Killians,
So I
yeah,
have a story. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
go for it.
No,
No,
you
no, no.
said Killian.
I'm kind of done. I was just
Just let you
reminiscing
know
about
that
the
there's a
beer and
lag.
all the
So,
different
see,
a lag.
this is,
Yeah,
this is why I don't like lags because then we're all talking over each other. But no, reminisce about your Killians. My story can hold. Yes, no, maybe so.
I it went dead for a minute.
Oh, I said, tell us about the Killian, your Killian. Reminisce. My story can hold.
Oh no, just the different. It made me think of all the different beers and the bars and stuff. The Blue Moon with the orange and all the craziness and Heinekens and all the different beers, and it's kind of I guess where it is that the telling of the place that that stocks it. So anyways.
So I was 2019. I think I was 19,
2019.
20. I might have just turned 20. No, because I had my surgery and then I was out. So I was 19 years old. And so this little gay guy started working with me at Home Depot. And yeah, so I went from Builder Square to Home Depot. It is what it is. There was AT&T in the middle there, whatever. Anyway, um and he was absolutely hysterical, as gay can be. He was like 5'4" and just fully flamboyant and loud, and I found him hysterical. So he's like, let's go out. So me, another girl from work, and him went, and he's like, we're gonna go to the local gay bar. There was only one, and well, one that wasn't in Wilton Manors. There's like one in downtown. It was right there next door to the biggest dance club, the one that I would go to all the time. So I knew exactly where it was. I was like, oh, all right, let's go. They're like, it is bear what you dare, what you dare night, bear what you dare night. And I'm sitting there going, I could bear it all, and they're not going to give a shit, you know. So I didn't bear anything. And I walked in there going, and this is why I am alone and miserable. This is why I can't get a boyfriend. This is where all the hot men are. I mean, they had like a singular nut in a sling over the shoulder, like a sash, and that they were bearing it all. So there were different factions of somebody in a jock strap, and that, listen, don't tempt a gay man to with anything that says dare in it, because they will show you up. Okay, they like zero shame and all the glory. So I'm in there with all of these hot guys, and they love a cute straight girl. And so I'm just in there dancing, and I've got the hair down my waist. I'm doing all the thing, and all of a sudden there's this woman who's staring at me. And so I lead my little faction of little gay guy and work girl all the way to the back bar. And there's this girl who is staring at me, chasing me down in these like 6-inch freaking heels. Just little skinny girl, just chasing me down, Chad. I'm hiding in the back bar. I'm like, listen to my little gay friend. I was like, I need you to stand guard because I don't want to break anybody's heart today. You know? I don't feel like being mean. And then they called me by my name. I said, "Excuse you." And I looked at them. I was like, "And how do you know who I am?" And they're like, "You don't recognize me?" I was like, "No." Oh my gosh, what's this guy I went to high school with? And I was like, you look better in that fucking dress than I ever could." And she's like, "You're so sweet." I'm like, "Oh my God." Like this little, we're talking like full on spandex, tiny. I don't know where he got cleavage from because he didn't have boobs, but he squished something together and make it look like cleavage. And I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you. I was like, yeah, I couldn't be that hot if I tried, and made his fucking night. He bought me all. Like, listen, I know him as a guy, so he may have been a girl that night, but he's still a guy,
Yeah.
and so um, he will always be a guy to me, unless he's going to go full time that way, which he wasn't at the time. And so they bought my drinks all night long, and it was fucking fabulous. But oh yeah, I was like, I don't want to have to turn people down. We're at a gay club. Why am I going to have to turn people down? You know, because there's a big difference between the gay clubs down there and the lesbian clubs down there. That they are not the same thing. I'm just saying. But that was a fun night. That was an interesting night. So that is my only like kind of story, um, because I tend to not notice when I'm being hit on. Is that not ridiculous? I don't. I keep on thinking that they want to talk to my friend, or it's always nice to talk to the benign one. And I always thought of myself as I'm just the nice friend. Little did I fucking know. So here's a funny story. It was 2010, August 2010. And I had avoided Facebook, just like I avoided MySpace until the very end. By the time I got on MySpace, it was done. So I had avoided Facebook. And then I got 12 invitations from 12 different people in my email that morning in one day. And I was just like, well, fuck. All right, let me check this shit out. And in the first 2 months alone, the amount of people that were basically, I had such a crush on you back in the day. Oh my goodness, this, and oh my goodness, that, and yada, yada. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Y'all couldn't have manned up back in the day. My life would have been really, really different. I literally thought that you had crushes on everybody else, not me. You wouldn't even fucking look at me. Why do you think that is? Because you liked my friend? No. All right, then. How am I supposed to know that at 16? You know? So interesting. I was just like, oh, I lived the wrong life. Like who I was to myself was not apparently how people saw me, and I had no idea. And to a certain extent, I still have no idea. It makes no sense to me, but interesting stuff. So, Sweet Pea, whenever you're ready, you are on the board.
I am on the board. Okay. And here goes everybody's fun. But this is no without regret. White light, white light, red light. The cycle never changed. A beacon of hope for the lost, a warning for those who travel too close. The Lake Erie Lighthouse was my rhythmic and steady nightlight when I was afraid of monsters who didn't listen to the word no. Maybe if I said no louder, or if I cried a little softer, the monster would go. What if I hid under the covers or pretended I was fast asleep? I tried to share my toys, my favorite dolly, to keep him away from me. Screaming face down in a pillow after it left, no one came to protect. I learned to watch the lights and think of nothing at all. The monster finally left when no became a threat. My words formed sentences he knew he could not defend. He left me with a lesson: keep screaming no and live without regret. End poem.
And if people would just ever understand the difference between right and wrong, and no meaning no, we would have a lot less trauma. And this is a heartbreaking story, but also a very hopeful one, because at the end of this, no actually became a threat, and no actually meant no. And that was a beautiful thing. At that point, what came before it, not so much. And then there are those of us who have stories where no is never heard, it's never acted upon, it's never respected, it's never made anybody afraid enough to stop, which is horrible. So I kind of am not mad at society screaming no for stupid things, just watching it be heard, because I take pride vicariously for people that can get others to do that, especially when you come from a background where no was silent, where it was ignored, where it didn't matter, where you were made less than because the word held no value. So, you know, my entire life is built on hypocrisy, but whatever. But there's something to be said when you're that afraid and that unsafe, where you end up by some miracle creating your own safety. And thank goodness for small favors, because while I hate that any of this was a possibility, I do enjoy the fact that those two letters became a threat. And at least there was some sense in the fucker, because it wasn't a whole lot of it, but not everybody realizes that no means no at any point. So that's not an easy thing to put in writing. I'm just saying. So, Rack and Tor, your thoughts?
Not an easy thing to comment on either. I mean, I grew up with a bunch of guys that would have piled in the car with the bats and had a talking to somebody over something like that. But they would have thought twice about getting out of the wheelchair when they were done with them. I mean, wow. Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing, and it just screams of the sick world that we live in, and the way people justify things. I mean, it's heartbreaking in a lot of ways. People under whatever circumstances that they think that it's okay, and perpetuate it, and then turn around and get married and do it again, and until they get caught. It's, yeah, it's horrible, but devastating.
Thanks, guys.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have a life half lived by me, Pretty Bird. And it goes like this. So first of all, so this show's apparently going in a specific direction. Here we go. This is a life half lived by me, Pretty Bird. Stapled shut against my will, I still remember what it was like to dream or have dreams that felt like possibilities. A life full of futures before the wounds needed sutures and bled trust. Anemic yet fortified in the doubt, scolded into my skin, stealing imagination from innocence unbeknownst. Hollow hope to finding a smile where it finally starts to feel real, building in me on my own terms. Bullied by fear and shoulds that should never have felt like my fault. It was always my fault till it wasn't. Nobody wanted to know, but I knew. Broken and bruised, I knew. This time it wasn't me. It took twice my life to realize it never was. Ever the scapegoat, it's still easy to forget what it was like to dream or have dreams that felt like possibilities. End poem.
Mm. There's such sadness throughout this to staple shut against my will. I still remember what it was like to dream or have dreams that felt like possibilities. Um, and then bullied by fear and shrouds that should never, it felt like my fault. It always was my fault until it wasn't. It takes a long time to believe it's not your fault. And I love that ever the scapegoat isn't easy to forget what it was like to dream or have dreams that felt like possibilities. I don't know why when things happen and you're screaming no and it's not no and it's a life half lived that you still think everything's your fault. You must have done something wrong. It had to be hollow hope defining a smile where it finally starts to feel real, building a me on my own terms. When you have to start over and really figure out it's not you, it's not anything you did. And there's a whole lot of no's you have to say to yourself too. No, you didn't do this, and no, you didn't do that, and um, this kind of breaks my heart. And you put it in so many great metaphors in your words, and how you use words are always so hard hitting, and they kind of just rip through your heart. I mean, nobody wanted to know, but I knew, broken and bruised, I knew this time it wasn't me. And that's a great way to recognize, but to go through the broken and the bruised, you can see the pain of it all. You had to go through a whole lot of pain and a lot of broken and a lot of bruises and a lot of beating yourself up to realize it wasn't you. And that's very, very heartbreaking to me. So, Raconteur, your thoughts?
You can't invoke the staple shut because of the poem of the same name. Um, even just mentioning it in another poem is disturbing enough. But the idea of this that people are victimized like this and still question that people want them to believe that it's their fault. Oh, it's because you wore a short skirt. You led me on. You dressed. The ideas behind this. This brings out. You know, it's just I don't know. It screams what's wrong in this world, and you know, it's good to let people know, that it's not their fault, and to hear that somebody survived it and went through it as well, and they can relate to it. But the fact that it happens to begin with is just horrible to me.
I appreciate that. And Sweet Pea, you are on the board.
I'm on the board again. Okay. This is called Don't Leave Me. Can you recall the moment you smiled at me? The moment you chose to pursue me? I said no. Do you recall your persistence? The phone calls, the texts, the visits, the gifts, the acts of a gentleman wrapped in kindness? I said no. The sadness in your voice, the conviction of your choice, a power to your stride, that smile and those green eyes. I said maybe. For 6 years you begged for my hand. Make me a married man. Take my name. You own my heart. I said no, until the dog. I believed every word, had faith in your love, counted on us, trusted you more than myself. Then you said no. I will not be that man. I'm not in love with the woman I pursued, bored that I now have it all. You said no to us. Walking away was the plan, leaving it all behind. Without hope of understanding, I said no to the past. Now standing here in front of me, you cry upon your knees. No, no, don't leave me. And poem.
And so, how am I supposed to comment on this without going on a rant about assholes?
Don't know.
Okay. So, I'm going to say a couple of things, and it's going to come out however it comes out. And I don't know how to apologize for that. So, just you are now warned. Okay. For those who don't know, I have a very black and white mentality about right and wrong, truth and lies. I don't believe in white lies. White lies are just lies of a lesser degree that they think aren't going to hurt, but because it's lies, it proves that you are untrue. And I can't trust somebody who can lie about stupid shit, because if you're going to lie about stupid shit instead of talk to me about the stupid shit, well, you're not going to talk to me about the big shit either. So I don't deal with lies. So in this, I believed every word. I had faith. I trusted you more than myself. And the response and action to that is I will not be that man. Fuck you. Fuck everybody else. I hear you loud and clear. Beg all you want as you take those knees out the front door and keep on fucking walking, because I don't know. I can try to have love win, but there is a limit to what I can take and what I can pretend is normal. Like, oh, well, maybe they're having a bad day, or maybe they're having this, or maybe they're going through that, or maybe if I fix why I wasn't somebody that's safe to go to, that maybe we can move forward if I can become that for them. I will go through that whole process. But if it is ever presented to me in any kind of way that there is now boredom, or I needed excitement, or, I have all the things, now I need something more, you can kiss a dirty hobo's asshole full tongue, a full depth, because what in the actual fuck? So this is just a life lesson, perhaps a PSA to everybody that will ever listen to this. Do not be that asshole. If you love somebody enough to want them around, to cry about it, don't do anything that's going to make you be in that position to have to beg somebody to stay with you because you know you're wrong. Don't be wrong. Have the conversation. I told my husband, now granted, my heart would break. I told my husband, I said, I cannot forgive you going behind my back and you lying to me about anything. If there is somebody that is hella hot and you want to have sex without a relationship, convince me that it's just sex. Convince me before you do anything. And maybe you can talk me into it, you know? But I promise you, if you do anything, if you take a number, if you have a conversation, God forbid you touch a boob or stick your tongue down her throat, I'm done. Because I asked you for one thing. And I gave you a way to you have to convince me that this is what you want. Now I will say this. We have never had that conversation. And I asked them why, because we've been together decades. I asked them, why have you not? Yeah, there's been people that are like, sometimes they're not even necessarily pretty. Sometimes whatever pheromones are in the air just kick things on. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you to my wiener? I'm like, okay, and you never thought to ask? No. Why? Because they're not you. What do you say to that? All right then. I'm gonna take you out to dinner and give you whatever the fuck you want in bed tonight because you deserve it. Because I never would have expected that. I never would have expected that. And even now, I'm all like, you let me know what you need. And he's just like, shut up. All right. Just making sure, you know? But but for decades, we had the possibility of an out. I was like, I can respect whatever the needs are, whatever the fantasy is, whatever that is. We can work through all that, you know, if you don't lie to me. And this breaks me because the audacity, the gall, the gumption between, chasing for what is it, 6 years. You said that they're begging to share a life. To yeah, uh, no, is it's diabolical to me, you know, and and I get. that love is strong and it's a big old thing. And like I said, I would want to do all the things and go through the trying to be what they need so they feel safe in a place with all of whatever their needs are. But oh, I I will never understand the ending of this. The you crying upon your knees. No, no, don't leave me. When you burn the house down yourself, you really think you're gonna get out unscathed? You know? Well, what the hell did they think was gonna happen? They had to know that there's a possibility. You know what I mean? And so I feel I do not like perfidious people. I do not like perfidy at all. And for those who are unaware, betrayal and perfidy are different to me. And this is the best way I can describe it. Betrayal can be accidental. If I tell you something that is something that you don't think is a big deal, but is a big deal to me, and I don't specifically say this is not for public consumption, and you accidentally have a conversation with somebody. Oh yeah, well why don't you ask her? She's been through it, and somebody asks me about it. I will be hurt. I will absolutely be hurt. But they didn't hurt me on purpose. They didn't know it was a secret. If I didn't say this is really personal explicitly, and it's something that most people wouldn't think is personal, I mean, accidents happen. But if I would have said, this is between you and me, and then it came back to me, and you're like, what? What did I do? Fuck you is what you did. And so I don't know how to deal with her. I think that this is a lovely poem. I think that this is a full story of a beautiful beginning, and I love how, until the dog, because not for nothing, I too would love a dog better than a diamond. I am just saying, because that is unconditional love and joy and all the things. It is a beautiful thing to me, you know? So yeah, that is a hard sway, you know?
Yes.
And I wish that this whole part here, the last poem, did not exist because it breaks my soul, the amount of pain that truth begets. So I have ranted on. So Raconteur, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is entirely too relatable. I actually have something that I just recently wrote that's reminds me of this. Something that you hold near and dear to your heart. You look at something and you see it one way, and then as time goes on, you keep looking at it and looking at it and looking at it, and it doesn't look the same anymore. Um, you come to realize that it was never what you thought it was. When you looked at it, and it's this dishonesty that fraud that makes you feel like a fool. And the tragedy of this to me is that you do the right thing. You trust your heart. You want to believe. You take people at their face, and the love comes out, and you break down, and you kind of want to give in, and then you see you're left wondering, what the hell happened, and you're the one that did the right thing, and I almost want to say, with the groveling and the please don't leave. It, it's emotional manipulation in its worst form, because it's not even like when I tend to argue personally, when something happens, not in that vein, but I argue, I try to argue, logic and truth. I don't argue, this comes across like, the fox and the grapes, and it sounds more like, he someone's worried about losing something. It was a possession, and that's all it was, and that's what you meant. And he's not sorry that you're leaving, or that he lied, or that he even hurt you. It's that, well, now I can't have you. And again, that's the thing that hurts the most about this, because he convinced you that he wanted you, and that wasn't true, uh, or at least not based on behavior. So, again, I don't know. This is something, again. It's tough to watch. It's tough to listen to. It's one of those things where, you want to tell someone they deserve better, but at the same time, what the hell do you know? Because that's their choice, and they're the ones making the decision. So, all you can do is sit there and give them a big old bear hug and say, if you need someone to listen, I'm here.
It's funny because I hear in this kind of um, there's a difference between accountability and lip service. And
Yeah.
the please don't go, the I know I was wrong, please don't leave, or I understand, but no. No, 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 no. That is lip service. That is all the things that they think you want to hear. Accountability looks like shame and guilt. Accountability looks like regret, not, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. It's, oh my God, I can't believe what I did to you. I am ashamed of myself. And there's a big
Yes.
difference. And so, groveling on your knees with no fucking accountability just makes you look like a douche. So self centered. I'm going to shut up now. I've got a poem up.
Yay.
I'm, listen, I don't like begging. I have all kinds of poems about shh. I'm just saying. So this is not one of them though, unfortunately. This is I know you don't like chocolate, but I baked your brownies by me, Pretty Bird, and it goes like this. I hate cherries, but I like them in pie, and I like your smile, but your attitude tastes like Tuesday's hangover. Let me call you friend, and I'll cherish the truth of the mess that we all are. Hiding in a clear vase won't make you smell like roses. The thorns are all that remains of that scented silver lining anyway. Peanut butter, Nutter butter, Reese's Pieces, a gift basket of anaphylaxis, a killing kindness. I didn't feel like dying today. Not for you, at least. It's been years, and still you can't remember I hate pepperoni pizza. So you eat alone, and I choke on my tongue. You buy me cheesecake, my favorite, with cherries. This must be what hate feels like. Strawberries are a safe bet for a very toothy grin, and that's never been the goal, though, or I wouldn't know what tears taste like. And pounding my head through your reflection won't change how I see you when you still bring me pepperoni pizza and smile because you never remember. A piece of me dies in silence. End poem.
Oh, I love the pepperoni pizza story because it's all the love and all the fault all in one little story. Um, it doesn't really matter how many times they remember that you love, you know, the the cheesecake and the strawberries and all of that, because how do you not remember that I don't like the pepperoni after all these years? You eat alone, I choke on my tongue. Um, there's just something about it. It just kind of leaves you in that moment of, really? What were you thinking? How do you not get this? Why do you not get this? What is it about me that you can't remember this simple little piece of me? And you just don't understand it. It's kind of like, why do you not know that pink carnation is my favorite flower and you insist on buying me roses? I'm not a big rose girl. But go ahead, keep buying them. Okay, thank you. Should never not be nice when somebody buys you flowers. Not that I understand it, but okay. You know, you do die a little bit, but you're just quiet about it because okay.
Girlie didn't know how to be quiet.
I like your smile, but your attitude tastes like Tuesday's hangover. And you're just sitting there waiting, you know, and no matter how many times you've said it, I do believe he might have gotten it right by now, um,
Yes.
by his own
It took 27 fucking years.
But God, that was
And
a
now he
long
could torture you with it.
27 years.
He
Yeah, that was
does
a
too.
long 27 years, and it's not something he's gonna forget. But it is kind of heartbreaking, but you make it kind of sound so loving in a way that okay, I'm gonna give him this one because he does so many things that are all right, but it still kills me. It's still just not right for me, and that's kind of what I love about this is I know you don't like chocolate, but here's your fucking brownies. So I really love that about it. It's got that tongue in cheek, but don't forget it hurts. Yeah, rack your thoughts.
Just think of when you love somebody and you care about them, you kind of memorize what matters to them. Whether it's going to be to tease them with it or to you know try and give them that toothy grin. It's one of those things that just you can't. I don't know. You can't. And for me anyway, I don't know. It show it's telling in one sense, but in another sense, it also is reminiscent of how life gets away from you sometimes, and you remember, I knew there was something about pepperoni. I just didn't remember that it was that you didn't like it. It was
Yeah.
like I
I
remember
remember
the
the
pepperoni.
pepperoni. Yes.
You know, but it's one of those things that it grows on you, and then it gives you something to talk about later on too. Uh,
I mean, if that's all we have to
uh,
talk about, I mean that would kind of suck.
well, I mean,
But
it's safe
yeah,
conversation. There's other things
is
to
it
talk
though? Because
about,
I'm
but
bitter. He'll make jokes because he knows that I don't think it's funny.
yeah,
And
yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
"Hey, I'm gonna go pick up some pizza, pepperoni, right?" And I will eyeball him, and then he'll giggle, and I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, let him bring one home and see what happens to him." 'Cause I wouldn't put it past him. I'm sure he would bring me something else, but if he would, I would not put it past him to be like, "Hey, this is what you wanted, right?" And I literally, I would I would lose my shit. I would be silent. I would be like, "Take your fucking pizza." And you might want to stay out of my sight for the next few hours, you know. And where at some point he would bring me chicken wings or whatever it was that he actually bought for me. But oh yeah, I don't put it past him
Well,
at all. I'm hoping that he knows we are not there yet. He has not made up for the 27 years with three, you know. I am just saying. I mean, he eventually got it. Who says you can't teach old dogs new tricks? And on that note, it is about midnight. So, what is coming up on Thursday, sweet?
On Thursday, we have, let me see, what's in it for you? What do I get? It is, of course, let's see, it is, gotta read more here. It's because it is the right thing to do, just because or out of kindness has fallen out of favor in this instant entitlement society where everything feels transactional and everything has a price. Whatever happened to kindness? That is coming up
And
Thursday.
on Tuesday, July 7th, it is penned by the ghost of her pain. Everyone needs a safe place to purge pain, a place without outside judgment. For some, it's sport, for others, art. Then there are poets. We are moody bitches, in case you didn't know. It's the beauty of words that weave the tapestry of the human condition. This is a safe place to purge in the whispers and screams Beautiful words.
Yes. And then following that, coming up on Thursday, we are going to have The Shape of Us. Love actually has the ability to change our brains by releasing oxytocins, lowering physical stress. It can help us live longer, or it can shorten our lives and be a bitter pill to swallow. Ultimately, love can act as both a mirror and a medicine. So, how has love shaped you?
So that is what is coming up for the next few shows. We hope to see you there, and you can join us live every Tuesday and Thursday. You can find us live on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. You just type in Pretty Sweet, PRTTY Sweet, and you will find Pretty Sweet Distractions. Click on the red shoes, and it'll give you all the details. And you can find us there every Tuesday and Thursday at 10. Um, and you can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Just again, type in Pretty Sweet, click on the red shoes, and follow us to hundreds of hours of us distracting you from probably more productive things. So, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the places, we are everywhere. We're like a virus, but that's okay. And so, like, follow, share, leave your opinion on our opinion, click all the hearts and show us some love. Do share if you find us funny or obnoxious or whatever, feel free to share. Leave us a comment. Our home base is at prettysweet.podbean.com, where you can get all of our archived shows. Every single one, the pre-recorded ones, the ones that were live, all of them. Feel free to let us know we're amazing or whatever your actual opinion is, because honesty is key. So again, you can find us live Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. So we had a wonderful time tonight, and we hope that you did too.
You,
However, if you did not, are you ready, Steve?
you can.
You can fuck all
Fuck
the way off.
it off.
Good night, everyone.